श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्के केसरी वेदांत आचार्य वर्यो में सन्निधत्तां सदाहृति श्रीवासरंग परकाल मुनित्रयाप्त लक्ष्मात् मरक्षणैतिद्युगागमान्तम् आचार्य भक्ति परिपूत वर्गशीलं गोपाल देशिक मुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः. स्वामी देशिकन् शरणागति दीपिका. Yesterday in the last slokam, Swami explained about the utkramanam, how the jiva leaves the body and how Perumal facilitates the jivatma to leave the body, and that is for non-prapannas, for the for those who have not performed any means. And in this slokam number 38, Swami Desika explains how Perumal does all the upakaram for the asadharana utkramanam, for the special manner in which the jivatma takes a particular route to attain Srivaikuntam. So, Sloka 38. Savyanyayor nisivasareva Savyanyayo Nayanayor nisivasareva Sankalpita yuravadhin sapati prapannan Hardasvayam nijapade viniveshayishyan Nadim praveshayasinata sathadhikam tvam Savyanyayor ayanayo nishi vasareva. Savyanyayo ayanayo, either in Uttarayanam or Dakshinayanam. Sankalpita yuravadhin sapati prapannan Hardasvayam nijapade viniveshayishyan Nadim praveshayasinatha sathadhikam tvam. With a view to make prapannas enter into your own Paramapadham, you reside in their hearts quickly and you make them enter into the Sushumna Nadi, which is above the 100 nadis in the human body. So you enter either in the Uttarayanam or in the Dakshinayanam, either in the night or in the day, just at the end of the life as determined by you, you take this Jivatma to Srivaikuntam through the Sushumna Nadi, the 101st Nadi. To the Prapanna, whichever is the place or whatever is the moment, whether it is day or night or Uttarayanam or Dakshinayanam, whatever, that is the Uttarayanam, Dakshinayanam, day, night, all that is applicable only for Bhakti Yoga Nishtas, not for Prapannas. Prapannas, such restrictions do not hold water. Sankalpita Ayuravadhi, the end of life as Sankalpam by you, as willed by you. At that moment, night or day, Dakshinayanam or Uttarayanam, whatever Ayanam it may be, the Lord who resides in the Prapanna's heart takes him through the Sushumna Nadi as a prelude to taking him to Paramapadham. Swami Desikan mentions in Adhikara Sangraham, Pasuram 27, which refers to the 20th chapter of Srimad Rahasyatraya Saram in Niryana Adhikaram. That is, all times and places are fit for Prapanna to leave his body or her body. Nannilamamadu Narpagalamadu Nannimittam Yennalumamadu Yadhanum Angu Adiyavarku Minnilai Meni Vidum Payanathu Vilakkilador Nannilayam Nadu Nadi Vazhikku Nadai Perave. There is no special prerequisite for Prapanna Jivan to exit from the body via the Brahmanadi. There is no special requirement, prerequisite or circumstance that this exit will happen at a special kshetram or at a particular time or a particular season. Whatever the time, whatever the place, whatever the season, all are equally auspicious for the exit of the Prapanna Jivan by the special Nadi. And that's the Lord's Upakaram. In the Chetana, in the Jivatma's heart, there are 101 Nadis, nerve pathways perhaps, that originate. There is one special Nadi in the middle of the 100 Nadis, which is 101st. It's called Sushumna Nadi or Murdanya Nadi or Brahma Nadi. The Jivatma that travel by any one of the other 100 Nadis other than the Sushumna Nadi or Brahma Nadi or Murdanya Nadi reach lokas other than Srivaikuntam. Whereas Prapanna Jivan alone is assisted by the Lord to travel by Brahma Nadi and through the Archiradi Margam and reach Srivaikuntam. Swami Varaha Nainar, Varaha Peruman says, Aham smarami madbhaktam nayami paramagatam. I will remember him at the time of his final moment. And I myself will take him to my abode, Srivaikuntam. That's what is referred here. The key passage is Adiyavarku Angu Vilakku Ilad. Adu nal nilamam, adu nal deshamam, adu nal pagalam, adu nal nimittam, yannalum am. So, nal nimittamum sollalam, yannalum am. For Prapannas, the time, the place of departure is not restricted. Any place from which they leave their body would be an equally auspicious place. You need not have to rush to Srivaikuntam to pass away. You need not have to rush to Srirangam to pass away. You need not have to rush to some Divya Desam to pass away. Any place. As long as you have done what is required to be done, the path of Sharanagati, Prapatti. The time at which they leave their body would be the auspicious time. The nimittam associated with the exit of the Jivan would be an auspicious nimittam. There is no requirement for the Prapanna to have the final moments during thinking about the Lord, Antima Smriti, not required. He would remember. This requirement is only for those Jivasma who practice Bhakti Yoga. Those requirements. Uttarayanam, daytime, like that. There is no such requirement for the Prapanna Jivan who is exiting from the body during the Shukla Paksham or Uttarayanam. Such is the power of Prapatti. So what's been described thus in respect of the Brahmopasakas regarding this? It is Perumal who takes them. Vedanta Desika describes in Ragasyatrayasaram Niryanadikaram and Gati Chintanadikaram, the mode of passing out of the body and the journey to Supreme Brahman through the path of Archiradi. So, Desika describes how Prapanna passes out of the body after becoming pure by exhausting the prarabdha karmas that had come upon him in that body at such a time that he decides to quit this body. Swami so beautifully encapsulates how the Prapanna comes out through the 101st Nadi. O Vilakkoli Perumale, for those who have not performed Prapatti, there are some limitations on the time of death and their consequences. But for Prapannas, at the end of their lives, you as the indweller, the Antaryami of the Jivan, facilitate the Jivan to enter the 101st Nadi, Sushumna Nadi, Brahma Nadi, to begin its journey via the path of light towards Srivaikuntam. The other Jivans who did not perform Prapatti enter Nadis other than the 101st Nadi. So in the previous slokam, Swami Desikan described how the Lord as the Antaryami unites the 10 indriyams with Manas, and Manas in turn with Pranavayu, Pranavayu with the subtle aspect of Panchabhutam. Our Lord embraces the Jivan which underwent such strenuous exhaustion and comforts it. What does the Jivan do now? That's the subject matter of the 38th sloka. Additional upakaram done to the Prapanna. Even Brahma Sutram talk about it. Upanishads talk about it. In Brahma Sutram, 4th chapter, it is described. Tadoktadikaranam, Nisadikaranam, Dakshinayanaadikaranam, all these things. The Lord's special help in illuminating the 101st Nadi and pushing open the closed door of the Nadi to permit the Prapanna Jivan to enter is described in Tadoktadikaranam. So, in Tadoktikaranam, this is described. And Katha Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad attest, vouch this help of the Lord. In Adhikarana Saravali also Swami Desikan describes the Lord's help in detail for the Prapanna Jivan to enter the 101st Nadi and to proceed further along the prescribed route to Srivaikuntam. And in the next Adhikaranam, Rasmayanusara Adhikaranam, the journey of the Jivan following the sun solar rays is described following the Chandogya Upanishad mantra. And then Nisadikaranam, it is stated that for a Prapanna Jivan, death at daytime or night time does not interfere with the travel to reach Supreme Brahman. In the Dakshinayana Adhikaranam, the Prapanna who dies, even in Dakshinayana, where when the sun travels south, he attains the Supreme Brahman. So, Savya Anyayo Ayanayoho. Swami Desikan refers to the insignificance of Dakshinayanam or Uttarayanam in affecting the surety of Prapanna Jivan's journey via the Archiradi Margam, via the Sushumna Nadi. And Nisi Vasareva in the slokam, Swami Desikan condenses the thoughts of Adhikaranam, Nisadikaranam as Nisi Vasareva. Death during the night or day does not mingle or interfere with the predetermined journey of Prapanna Jivatma. What a upakaram Perumal does for the Prapanna. That's why it says 1/1,000,000th of the glory of Prapanna cannot equate other nishtas, Bhakti Yogis. By the passage of Sankalpita Ayu Avadin Prapannan Sapadi Nijapade Swayam Viniveshayishyan Hardaha Tvam Sata Adhikam Nadim Praveshyasi. Swami Desikan refers to the Tadoktikaranam, the 4th chapter. The Prapanna Jivan exits the body, the gross Stula Sarinam, via the 101st Nadi with the help of the Antaryami. The exit is made easier by Perumal by making the 101st Nadi radiant, Agrajwalanam, so that the Jivan can see where it is. And then our Lord pushes open the closed door of the 101st Nadi to ease the entry of the Prapanna Jivan in that Nadi to proceed upwards on its prescribed path, Devayana path, to the supreme abode Srivaikuntam. The non-Prapanna Jivans exit their gross body by one of the other 100 nadis and reach destination other than Srivaikuntam, Swargam or Narakam, and are destined to be reborn again in the samsaric world. Such a beautiful manner Swami talks about the journey. In fact, in the next slokam, he is giving the journey description. Archirdinam Vishadapaksha Udak Prayanam Samvatsaro Marudashita Karashashankaha Saudhamani Jalapatir Valajit Prajesaha ityadivahika sakho nayasi swakiyan. Sloka 39. Archirdinam. Archir means Agni Devatai. That's why it's called Archiradi Margam. Archirdinam Vishada Paksha Utak Prayanam Samvatsaro Marutashita Karashashankaha Saudamani Jalapatir Valajit Prajesaha Ityativahika Sakho Nayasi Swakiyan. So, you associated with Agni, and the Sukla Paksham, and the god of Varsham, the Uttarayanam, Vayu, the Devata of wind, the sun, the moon, the lightning, Varuna, Indra, Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma, who are all like your emissaries, your ambassadors to receive the Jivatma and lead her, the Jivatma, into that journey. So this sloka is an exact translation of Adhikara Sangraham of the 28th Pasuram, which refers to the 21st chapter of Srimad Ragasetra Saram, which is Gati Vishesha Adhikara. Nadai pera angi pagalolinal uttarayanamande idaivaru kaatiravi iravin patimin varunan kudayudai vaanavar kon prajapati endrivaral idai bogangal eidi edil padam eruvare. The Upanishad describes the path of Archiradi and calls it as Deva Padam or Brahmapada. The various guides on the way lead Jivatma from one place to another place. And finally a superhuman called Amanavan leads him to Supreme Brahman, Sriyapati Sriman Narayanan in Srivaikuntam in the end. As a king fondles his son, the prince who is obedient to him, the Lord himself makes this liberated Jivatma led to this place by the various Adivahikas, such as Agni and others. The Adivahikas are as follows. Agni, the deity of the day, the deity of the bright half of the month, the deity of the Uttarayana, the deity of the year or Samvatsara, the Devata of air, Vayu, the sun, Aditya, the moon, the Vaidyuta Purusha, means the lightning, Varuna, Indra, Prajapati. So the liberated soul, Prapanna Jivatma, is respectfully led by these guides or Adivahikas. The Prapanna Jivan leads the body of Brahmanadi through the Brahmanadi and then travels with Sukshma Sarira, subtle body, via Archiradi Margam. Archi means Agni, to his destination of Srivaikuntam. So Agni and others guide him through this Margam. So Archiradi Margam. On the way, the Jivan is greeted and honored by Agni Devatai, the Devatai for the day, Sukla Paksham Devatai, Uttarayana Devatai, Samvatsara Devatai, Vayu Devatai, Suryan, Chandran, Lightning Devatai, Varunan, Indran and Prajapati. So these Devatas are known as Adivahikas and are representative or emissaries of Perumal, assigned duties for welcoming the Prapanna Jivan to their stations and honor them, respect them, guide the Jivans to the next station. The upacharams that the Prapanna Jivan receives is not due to the fruit of their karma, but due to the power of the Prapatti Yogam that they had adopted, practiced. After enjoying the upacharam, the Jivan arrives at Srivaikuntam, its final station of the journey. So, Nadai Pera Prajapati Yendri Ivaral Idai Bogangal Yeidi Yedil Padam Yeruver. Thus, the Jivan traveling on its path to Moksham receives upacharam from Adivahikas like Prajapati, and when others enjoys the pleasures and finally arrives at the radiant Srivaikuntam to perform eternal, enjoyable, blissful service due to Paramapriti, Nitya Kaikaryam to the Lord, and enjoy total bliss in the company of Muktas and Nitya Suris. So, here Swami mentions there is a path called Archiradi. It means Agni, etc. So this Archiradi Margam is described in this sloka. So the Agni, Devata pertaining to the day, Devata pertaining to the Sukla Paksham, which is the bright fourth night, Devata pertaining to Uttarayanam, which is the 6 months, Devata pertaining to the annual period, the Varsham, Samvatsaram, Marut, the wind god, the sun god, the moon, the Devata pertaining to lightning, Amanavan, Varuna, Indra, Brahma, all of them. They lead the soul to the Lord's Sriyapati Sriman Narayanan's abode Srivaikuntam. Actually, it is the Lord who does take the soul on to moksha. So in the previous slokam 38, the Utkranti, the exit of the Prapanna Jivan by the 101st Nadi, 101st vein, vein, with the active participation of our Perumal, dwelling in the heart, was referred to. The Jivan that left the Brahmapura, the city of Brahman, the Stula Sariram, now enters the Devayana path through the solar rays. Devayana path is known as Archiradi Margam. Devayana means the divine path of the Devas, and Archis means Agni, the light. So that path is presided over by several deities, the emissaries, who receive the Mukta Jivan with appropriate honors, Purna Kumbham, Vedavakyams, and escort the Jivan throughout their territories. The first one is light, Archis. Second is Ahas, day. Third is bright forenight, Purva Paksham or Sukla Paksham. Fourth is Uttarayana, the 6 months when the sun travels north. Fifth is year, Samvatsaram. Sixth, Vayu, air. 7, Adityan, sun. 8, Chandran, moon. Vaidyutan, Amanavan, who is lightning, Vidyut. And 10, the Sahakari, 3 Sahakaris of Amanavan, Varuna, Indra and Prajapati. So they have been appointed by Srivapati Sriman Narayanan to escort the Mukta Jivan onward to the supreme abode. They are called Archiradi Abhimanis. The specifics about this Devayana Margam are described in Chandogya Upanishad, Kaushitaki Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. There are variations in the deities who participate in the Upacharams in those respective Upanishad, and the lokams that the Mukta Jivan passes through according to these 3 Upanishad. Sri Ramanuja discusses the Archiradi Margam in Sri Bhashya 4.3.1 Sutram. He concludes that all these Upanishads agree on the divine path used is the only path travelled and begins with Archis, which is Agni. Swami Desikan discusses the Archiradi journey in detail in his Sri Sukti Paramapadham Sopanam, 7th chapter, Archiradi Parva. Swami Desikan also summarizes very beautifully the Archiradi journey in Adhikarana Saravali, Slokam 501 and 502, in Tattvasara Slokam 102. So Brahma Sutrams, the 4.3.1 to 15 Sutram discuss this topic. Acharya Ramanuja Sri Bhashyam elaborates on this path and about the Adivahikas. The arrival of the Mukta Jivatma at Srivaikuntam after travel through the path of light and the Anubhavam at Srivaikuntam form the final padam of the Brahma Sutrams. So Swami Nammalvar describes this in the last but one, 10.9.1 to 11. What Srivaikuntanathan, where he showed him as to what he would receive, would be enjoying, experiencing during the travel. Sool Vishum Banimugil Duriyam Murakina, the Archiradi Margam to Srivaikuntam, and the reception at Paramapadham on arrival. These precious pasurams are the clarification or the distilled essence of the Upanishads. The honors given to the dasas, the devotees of Srimad Narayana, are described in a very moving manner by Swami Nammalvar. Swami Nammalvar describes the upacharams, the maryadas that are offered to Mukta Jivatma from Adivahikas in the third slokam of this decade. வைகுந்தம் புகுதலும் வாசலில் வானவர் வைகுந்தம் தமரெமர் யமதிடம் புகுதென்று வைகுந்தத் தமரும் முனிவரும் வியந்தனர் வைகுந்தம் புகுவது மன்னவர் விதியே. The welcoming deities offer with great pride mixed with devotion. They garland the Mukta Jivatma, recite the Veda Vakyams, offer havis, fruits, benedictions. The Nityasuris greet the entering Mukta, saying, "Welcome to Srivaikuntam, our Swami. We are proud to be the servants of the Lord's dasas like you." All requested the Muktas to take over the Sri, the wealth, the only affluence that matters, namely the Kaikarya Ruchi, Kaikarya Sri to the Lord. What punya would we have performed such that we can have this entry of muktas from earth? What a great receipt, honor it would be. So, விதிவகை புகுந்தனர் என்று நல்வேதியர் பதியினில் பாங்கினில் பாதங்கள் கழுவினர் நிதியும் நற்சுண்ணமும் நிறைகுட விளக்கமும் மதிமுக மடந்தையர் ஏந்தினர் வந்தே. The Muktas proceed further. The Nityasuris who have been praised by the Vedas such as Ananta, Garuda, Vishwaksena and others receive the Muktas at the door of their respective holy Tirumaligai with acclamation. What a good fortune for us that you have come here, Swami. They also perform ablution for courtesy at the feet of the Muktas with real zeal, even if it was a formality. And then the consorts of the Lord, Lakshmi, Bhumi, Neela, with their countenances moon-like glances, came to receive the Muktas as representatives of the Lord along with their attendants. And with Sri Shatakopam, the Nidhi of Sri Vaishnavas, Churnam from the Lord's lotus feet, Purna Kumbhams and Mangala Deepams, they come. விதிவகை புகுந்தனர் என்று நல்வேதியர் பதியினில் பாங்கினில் பாதங்கள் கழுவினர் நிதியும் நற்சுண்ணமும் நிறைகுட விளக்கமும் மதிமுகம் அடந்தையர் ஏந்தினர் வந்தே. மதிமுகம் அடந்தையர் ஸ்ரீ பூ நீலா தேவிஸ் கம். The final 11th Pasuram describes the Mukta Jivan joining the Lord at his Trimamani Mandapam and enjoying endless bliss through the performance of Nitya Kainkaryam, which we are going to enjoy in the next few Slokam of Saranagathi Deepika. This is the fruit of travel by Archiradi Margam to Srivaikuntam, by the Prapanna Jivatma, the Mukta Jivan. Adiyan, Dhanyosmi, Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline, Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.